Hello and welcome to a new Google Sheets video in Practical Sheets. Today we continue with our series on generating events from Google Sheets. Today we're going to do two things. The first one is to clear our deleted events. Let's see, we're going to delete these three events. So we're going to delete these events to perform all actions so that we can delete these three. And we deleted effectively these three events, but I don't want them to be here. Maybe in some cases I wanted to be able to create them again or modify them, but in some cases where I have here in my list 30, 40, 50 events, maybe I want to clear these deleted events, to erase them, or maybe to put them in another sheet for maybe in the future for reference, or I want to create a similar event in the future, so this could work, but I want to erase them. So what we're going to do is to create a new custom function that is called create clear all deleted events. That is going to erase all my deleted events and put them in this hidden sheet called deleted events, where I could access them later if I want, but it won't create some noise in my main sheet. This is the first thing. And the second thing we're going to do is to connect calendar and sheets on the opposite direction. What we have done is create events from sheet and then automatically create them on calendar. What I want to do right now is, for example, create here a new event in my Google Sheet conference calendar. And it's going to be called how to connect calendar and sheets. And this we're going to give a location of wherever. And it will be at 10 a.m. Let's save it. And just saving it, and we go to our generator, it has already created it without having to do anything, without having to press a button. Just creating an event in my calendar will place it here in my Google Sheets. So this could be very useful to have this two-way communication between Sheets and calendar. So this is what we're going to do today. Hope you enjoy it. Please consider supporting me on my Patreon page and getting access to all these templates. If not, just subscribe to the channel. So let's get to it. If you are new to this series, I recommend you to go to the first videos to know what we have done. But basically, we have a Google Sheet where we can create events, write down a title, date and an hour, location, a speaker, and with some custom menus, you can create a particular event. You can create all the events you have written down. You can delete a specific event, delete all the events, modify a specific event. For example, you've already created this event, but you changed the date or changed the title or anything, and you can modify a specific. Additionally, what we've created were these two drop-downs. One, where you could do different tasks for all the events with one single button. You can create this event, delete this event, modify this event. And additionally, the last thing we did was that we created this config sheet, and we could select from our Google calendars, because here in Google Calendar we can have our main calendar, which in my case is this one, or I can create additional calendars. Here, my code automatically brings all the calendars I have, and I can choose what is the default calendar where I'm going to create all the events, but I can overwrite this in the events sheet and tell each event in which calendar I'm going to do it. I have here my to-do list of things I'm missing, or my wish list. There are a lot of more things we could do, but I'm going to focus today on these two. I want to hard delete or clear the deleted events. I could do this manually, of course, but it can be useful to, for example, I have all these deleted events that actually I don't need them. It could be the case that I deleted them because I wanted to create them again, or I wanted to change the date or whatever. So it's good to have them here. So I'm not going to change my deleted events, but I can have another option that's called hard delete. that it's going to loop through all my list, see which are the events that are deleted, and then just remove them from here because I don't need it. Maybe I can put them in a trash can that may be another sheet. Maybe I need them later just for my records to see what are all the events that I have deleted in the past. I don't know. But this in some cases can be a bit of noise because my actual events are these ones. Okay, so this is the first thing I'm going to do. So I don't think it's too difficult. Let's look at it. I'm going to copy this function. We have created this code from scratch. So to see how we have created it, I would recommend you to go through the whole series where we have been building all this code. But just to guide you quickly, we have some global variables and we have our main functions that are all the functions I have here. With this function, I create all the events. With this function, I create just one event. With this function, I delete one event. With this one, I modify one event. With this, I delete all the events. With this, I perform all my actions, the multiple actions. And with this one I'm going to change it because this is a secondary function because it doesn't appear in my menu. Put it here. And here we have our secondary function. This is the menu creation function. This is the function that brings all my calendars that I can then select them here or select them here. And I have the secondary function. This one is the function that creates an event from a particular row. This one is the one that deletes the event from a particular row. And this one modifies the event from a particular row. So I'm going to do a function that's called hard delete or clear events. Clear deleted events. There are a lot of ways we can do this. We can do this with a for loop where we can go row by row and see if it's deleted or not, and then create another array. But if I'm going to do this, it may be easier to create an array of all the things I have here, and then create two separate arrays with the help of a method such as filter. So, you remember I have already called in a global variable my events in this SS, so this is what I'm going to call SS, and then I could do this get data range, where I'm going to get all of this up until the last row. I could call this event array, and then at the end of this I'm going to say get values, and I'm going to create a new array that starts on this events array and then filters each row for the ones that here have the option event deleted. So in my 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the fourth position, row in position 4 are equal to event deleted. And I'm going to call this deleted events. And at the same time, I'm going to create the opposite, the not deleted events. That actually are the ones that interest me. So it's the same, but it's not that they are equal to event deleted, but are different from event deleted. Let's log it. I'm going to log my deleted events. And I'm going to log my non-deleted events. So first I'm going to create all my events. Actually, I'm going to erase this. And in my config, I'm going to tell my system that my default calendar is this Google Sheet conference. Then I'm just going to create all the events. Let's see. And apparently it created them all. So now I'm going to delete just some events. Maybe these two, as I already have it here. And also this one. Delete this thing. And let's delete also this one. I'm going to say perform all actions. It should delete these 4, no more. Here I can see what actions were performed. And you see that, for example, this event from the 29th of July, this one got erased. Also this one from August 3rd, it's also deleted, okay? So now I have some deleted events and some created events. I know that everything is working fine, so I can play with the function we're building right now. Let's play my clear deleted events to see what I'm getting. So first, I'm getting all the ones that are deleted. This one, this one, this one, and this one. We have 4 deleted events. Let's confirm. Yeah, we have 4. And we have, on the other side, we have 5 created events, or events that are not deleted. And if I include my headers, I have 6. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, and here's 6. Okay? I could remove this header if I want, just so I don't accidentally erase any formula or something like that. So here in the different to event deleted, I could also say, and row 4 is different from the title of this column, that in my case is event status. Let's run again. It doesn't work here because I have my title was wrong. So it's status again, and I've removed my header if I want. So now that I have my 2 arrays, I can decide what to do with them. So I've decided that these deleted events, I'm going to paste them in another sheet. I'm going to duplicate this sheet and call this deleted events that I can hide later. Just keep for reference, and that's it. So I'm going to delete all this. And what I'm going to do is to paste my deleted events there. So I will say, let's connect first with our new sheet. I'm going to call this deleted sheet. And let's say that deleted sheet. I want to look for the first non-empty location where I can paste my range. So let's say get last row and add 1. This means this is my first available row. And then we're going to select the range in my deleted sheet that will start in the available row at the first row and the first column, and will go up to how many rows this deleted event has. So this we can find it with deleted events dot length, and how many columns it will be deleted events in the first position, that is the 0 position, dot length. And then we're just going to do set values and paste my deleted events. Let's see if this works. Okay. So it did. We pasted these events here, and now the last thing I have to do is to clear up all this and then just paste the ones that are not deleted. So let's say SS, we're going to get the range that starts in my first column, in my first row and first column, and then go to my last row and my last column. As we have decided to keep the headers, so let's start in the second row, and this get last row will go up until 1 less than the last row. And this, I'm going to say clear content. This clear content clears the value and the formula, but not the format. So this is good. And at the end, I'm going to do something very similar to this. This SS get range that will start again in the second row, first column, but will go up to the length of these not deleted events. And the column will go up until the length of any of the elements of not deleted events. That is the row not deleted events in the position 0 length. And we're going to set the values to my not deleted events array. Let's save and let's play. So you can see here that I have cleared all my deleted events, and I have pasted them here. I have them 2 times because I run this 2 times. So I'm going to delete one of the copies. That's it. So I can hide this sheet. I don't need it. Just maybe in the future to see if there is an event I deleted that I want to create again. And I can go to my deleted events and copy and paste. Or if I wanted to go deeper, I could do an action that it's called restore event. That is the more or less the opposite of what we have created, but I think that is a bit too advanced or too specific. But if you want, we could in another video. For now, we're going to hide it again. Okay, so the last thing I want to do today is to create a calendar from Google Calendar. And then once I create it, I can see it here. So it's the opposite. All this time we have created our events from Sheets and with a button and with our code. And with our code, we have, let's say, synced our actions with Google Calendar so that when I create it in Sheets, I also create it in Google Calendar. I want to do the opposite. I want to be able to create an event here. And once I create it, I can add it here as a new event. So let's see how we can do it. So before that, I'm going to add these clear deleted events in my menu here. Add item. That's it. Let's run our menu creation. And I have here my option of clearing my deleted events. Now let's go to the other function I want to do today. Let's do it first here in my code, and then we can later decide if it's a thing to put on my secondary function or on my code. I'm going to minimize to hide all my functions. For now, I need to create this new function. Call it import calendar event. Okay, so I'm going to assume that the calendar where I'm going to bring my events, it's the same default calendar I have here. But the thing with this is when I do my trigger, in the trigger, I need to put which is the calendar. So unless we do this trigger programmatically, that we're not going to do for the time being, then we need to select manually or to know which is the calendar from which I'm going to import my event. So for now, I'm going to assume that this Google Sheet conference calendar that I've created is the one that will sync up with Sheets. Just make sure that every time you create the event is always on the same calendar. Doesn't matter which one, but it's the one that we're going to assign the trigger to. So for now, let's create a new calendar variable. Calendar, import calendar, let's call it. And in my case, I'm going to say calendar app dot get calendar by ID. And as I showed you in a past video, we can look at the calendars here in Google Sheets Conference. I can go to my settings, and down here I have my ID. It's this one. So I am going to copy and paste it and put it in under quotation marks. This may be a constant. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bring all my events from this calendar. So import calendar dot get events. I need a start time and an end time. So the start time could be a new date that may begin on 2021, month 0, day 1, and up to new date 2021, month 11, that is December 31st. So this will be events. And let's log my events. It should be an array of events. Let's save this and just run my import calendar event. So I have 5 events that are the ones I have here, these 5, because I don't have any more created. So what I need to do is to loop through these events and just for each event create a new row. So I'm going to loop through all my events with a for each function. Remember, this for each only works for arrays. So we need to make sure before doing this for each that this event is an array, which we have already made sure of here. Okay. So for each of the events, we're going to do a function. This is my event. I'm going to do something for each event. What I'm going to do is very easy. Is in my SS sheet, my main sheet, we're going to append the row with the things. So event is the title. So this is, we can create here my array. It may be easier to say row, and my row will be first event dot get title, then event dot, and this is the starting time. This is get start time, I think. Start time, yes. Then the location, then the speaker. Dot get location. We do this here. For the speaker is a bit more complicated. So for now we're going to leave it as quotation. Then we're going to put here event created, just a string, because we've just created the event. And finally, we need the ID. So it's event dot get ID. And that's it. That's my array. And this is the thing I'm going to append. This is the row I'm going to append for each of the events that I have. So let's run it. And let's see. And you can see that we have successfully imported all my events. There are a couple of things that are missing. The first one, of course, we can confirm that these are the same IDs. So we should first, in my case, I've already have them created, but in your case, you may have these blank. So let's put it blank and let's run it again. So instead of starting from scratch, I can start from already created events in calendar. What is missing is that what happens if I run it again? Then I should somehow look at my events and see that it's not already created. So I don't create them again, because right now as I have it, if I run it again, then I'm going to create them again. This is what I don't want. So what I can do is with my ID, check it here in this list of IDs if I already have it. And if not, let's not create it. That's it. So for this, I'm going to get my range. That is all this data. But the only thing I need is this ID. So I'm going to do a map function for the ID. That is the position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th position. So for this get data range, let's get the values. Let's call it data array. And then my data array, I'm going to do a filter. Sorry, a map function. Because I need an array only my IDs. This I'm going to call it ID array or ID list. So in my map, I'm going to get each of my rows, and I only need to extract the 5th position. That's it. Let's log my ID list just to check that everything's okay. We can, for the moment, comment this, save, and let's run. So here, they're my IDs. So what I'm going to do for each of my events here in my for each is that I'm going to look in this ID list to see if I can find my ID. So this will be ID list dot get index, index of, and look for my event dot get ID. When index of doesn't find something, it will return -1. So this is what I need. So let's call this ID finder. We're going to say here that if ID finder equals to -1, then we can do this. If not, don't do anything. In our case, for example, if we run it again, it shouldn't do anything, because in all the cases, it's going to find the ID, I think. Let's play it again. Let's see. And it worked. So let's create another event here. We're going to create an event, test event. Save. And let's play. No, it didn't work because I didn't create it in my Google Sheet conference. So I need to change the calendar, Google Sheets conference. Let's save. And let's run again. You can see that I already see 6 events instead of 5. And here I'm creating my new event. Maybe I can format this all my column just to make sure that I have the date with hour. And given that I created here from my month and not from my day view, then this is why it created it at an hour that actually maybe this may be a day event. I'm not sure. So this is why. Let's create another one here. Here we can see the hour. Test 2. Make sure that this is in my calendar, in the calendar that I have selected. Let's add an occasion. And save. Again, let's play. So it just created this test 2 and not the events that are already created. Okay. So this looks good. The last thing I want to do is I'm going to assign a trigger so that I don't have to, I could do this with a button. For example, the first time I do it. And let's call it import calendar event. We're going to copy this. And in my secondary function, I could here have a new function that's called import events from Google Calendar. And this will be my function import calendar event. These are 2 UI, should be at the end. Let's save and run again. So I have here my import events from Google Calendar, but this is the first time or in some specific times. But then it would be nice if every time I created an event, I could have it here automatically. So for this, we're going to do a trigger. We're going to here create a new trigger for my import calendar event, but it's not going to be from spreadsheet, but from calendar. This is a thing that is rarely used, so it's a nice opportunity to use it. And we're going to say every time the calendar is updated, and here we're going to bring our ID. Remember we had copied it at the beginning. We have it here. Is this one? We have to paste, even if it says calendar owner email. What I need to paste here is the ID that actually it has the form of an email. See that we have here the @ and a domain, so it looks like an email. But if it is your main calendar, remember that the ID of your main calendar is the same as your email. But if not, if it's a specific calendar as we have done in all these videos, then we should paste the ID, the specific ID. So let's save. So we're going to try it. Let's do a test 3. Here it will be 8:30. And location is just location. And here, remember to always choose the calendar we're talking about. In our case, it's this Google Sheets conference. Let's save. In theory, once we save the event, it should trigger our function here. But it didn't work this time. Let's see. It failed. Let's see what happened. Okay, so the thing with calling events from calendar is that calendar cannot access spreadsheet app, specifically this get UI. So we're going to change this very quickly in all of our function. Here we have it. It's not that crazy to do. We're going to put it here, change it here, and change it here. All the places where it says UI. I think that's it. Let's see if in my secondary functions I have here in the menu creation. So I replaced it, but I didn't delete it here. Okay. So is it this user interface that from Google Calendar cannot be called? Let's save one last time. And here is perfect. So every time you create a new event in the calendar we have set up, then it will automatically come here. So that's it. It looks like it. It looks good. So let's check the two things we did today. I hope you like it. I think it's more complete now. This you can disable or enable it depending on your needs. Some people may say, no, I don't. Precisely what I don't want is to have them created with my calendar, with my Google Calendar, but I think it makes it easier to not to have the two options. We can create it from here, or we can create it directly from calendar. So it gives us more flexibility. So that's it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it. And if you're enjoying the videos and you find them useful, you can support me in my Patreon page, and where you can also find the templates from all our videos. And if not, just subscribing and hitting the notification button at the right of the subscribe button, it's enough. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.